guys, glad you're joining me today. I'm over here in Greg's garage and Mama's out there supervising somewhere, and we are making some benches for my back deck. Greg, you made me a sawbuck table. Was it last year, I guess?
I guess last fall sometime.
Yeah, I think it was, when we were building it was last fall. So I've had it probably about a year and a half. And I've had these big black iron chairs that you get from Tractor Supply, those Windsor chairs, and they're beautiful. I love them. But when you try to eat out there, they're so heavy. When you try to move them out to climb in, they're just too heavy. And everybody in the family's mad at them. They don't really like them. So I'm going to move those outside to my garden. And now I'm just making me some benches to go along with my sawbuck table. So we've been to Home Depot, or did we get this at Lowe's? We went to Lowe's.
I think.
We went to Lowe's, and we got all the wood that we need. And it wasn't bad. This will make me two. And what I'm making are benches that look like they have what you call bootjack legs. So I'll show you guys a picture of what I'm talking about. I'll put it up here on the screen. But they shouldn't be too hard to make, should they?
No, they should be fairly easy to make.
Yeah, shouldn't. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint them to match the sawbuck legs that I have on my sawbuck table. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it won't take too long. All right, so we're going to get busy. What are you eating? Let me see. So we decided today, before we started working on the benches again, that we were going to take us a quick little trip up to an antique mall in Cross Plains, Tennessee, called 112 Antique Mall. And I found this neat little, I don't even know what it is, some kind of, I don't even know, but I thought that'll be perfect for my deck. I've got the perfect idea. I think it's going to look really cute. And then Mama found the cutest little, it's like a little garden gate door, just very primitive. So she's going to try to figure out where she can use that in her garden. And now we're here at the garden center in White House, Tennessee. And oh my goodness, it is just overflowing with the most beautiful flowers. And of course, those red geraniums up there caught my attention right off the get-go. So I've got to get me some of those. Today I'm buying things for my deck. I'll do my porch maybe next week, but today I'm trying to stay focused and concentrate on my deck. I've got all my family and some people coming over this Sunday for Easter, so I want to make sure, and that's probably where we'll be, is back on my deck. I want to get it looking all springy and pretty. And I got to get me some of these beautiful ferns. My goodness, I've never seen so many ferns in my life. And one is just as pretty as the other. So I'm really excited to get these benches finished so I can get started working on decorating my deck for spring. So here's Mama. She's already got her little feet wet or something. She's trying to hold up her pant legs. They're dragging the ground. She ain't big as a minute. And here's some asparagus fern. I usually get those and mix those in with some of my different things that I plant in my pots. And Mama has that creeping Jenny growing everywhere. So I got me a wagon, I got me some ferns. I just feel like these Boston ferns should grow good on my deck because it's covered and it shouldn't get too much sun. So hopefully they'll be in the shade. I think they'll do good out there. Now if I can guide this wagon and get down through this aisle without wiping out half the other plants. So far, so good. Now it's time to pick out some geraniums. Oh, this is a task for me because I'm so picky. But this one right here looks like it's going to do the trick. What a gorgeous, gorgeous geranium. And they stay so pretty all the way just about until November. So here's what we have. We've got some stuff in the back of the truck. And we've even got it in the seats. We didn't want to beat our geraniums with the wind from the back. I've got me a little white petunia and some sweet potato vine. So we're back in the truck. Mama's burning up. It's 85 degrees outside. And I said, Mama, wonder why you're so hot. She shows me that she has on Ugg boots and a pair of wool socks in the greenhouse with it 85 degrees outside. So I'm over here trying to keep her from passing out from the heat. She always freezes, so today she thought she would need that extra layer of clothes, and she did not. Okay, guys, it's day 2, and I'm out here with my benches, and Greg came out here before I got here and got them all sanded for me, so he's always so much help. So all I've got to do now is paint them. And what I'm going to do, the legs on my sawbuck table that we made last year are kind of they look kind of a green. I'm trying to think what color they would be. It's just a real pale green, taupey looking color. I don't really know how to describe it. And so I'm going to paint these benches the same color. And to do that, I'm going to use the same paint I used last year. I've got Behr paints here, and it's kind of a sage green looking color. And when you put that sage green on something and then you go over it with some brown stain to make it look old, it gives you just the perfect color. Or for me anyway, it's the color that I like. So I'm going to paint these the sage green, then I'm going to scuff them up with sandpaper or maybe my sander, and then I'll go over it with some wood stain. And the wood stain that I use is a dark. I usually use either walnut or I think the stain that I have this time that I used, where did I do with it? Here it is. The stain that I'm going to use this time is ebony. So that's even a little bit darker than the walnut. So we'll see how that works out because I've got so much to do. I want to get these done and then get to working on my deck. I'm going to rearrange my furniture a little bit, so I want to try to get done while the day's pretty outside, and it shouldn't take too long for these to dry. So here we go. I finally got these things sanded, got them kind of distressed looking. So now I'm going to try to age them and make this blue not so blue, or this green not so green. And what I'm going to use, this is Varathane wood stain, and it's ebony is the color. And I've just poured me some in this little empty jar. Got me a little brush and a rag. And I'm going to start brushing this on. And the good thing, this is oil-based. This is water-based paint, but this is an oil-based stain. And when you're trying to age something and make it look old, if you try to use a water-based stain because you're thinking, oh, it's going to dry really fast, it's also going to grab and soak into that wood. It makes it more splotchy looking. If you use this oil base, you can kind of keep rubbing in the areas that you need it. So we're using oil base. I've got me a rag, so I'm going to start. Just going to brush this on. It's going to be the moment of truth. Now let's start rubbing this around. It's hard for me to see this sunlight. What do you think? I've got my little supervisor out here. Mama's out here watching me. She'll usually, but she says no camera today, so no camera today. And the good thing about this stuff, it takes a long time to dry, so you can keep painting it on. And then we'll just get our rag and start rubbing it around. Make sure I get these little edges good where I've sanded them. Okay, let's start rubbing and see what we got. Yep, I think that's looking good. Yeah, I can see better from this angle. Okay, now you can see the difference. We've got our light, bright blue that y'all were probably thinking, oh no. And then here's what we have after we put the ebony stain over it. Just gives it, I love that color. That's kind of what, I don't even know what color you would call it, but I like that. I think it's going to be, yeah, I like that. So on with the staining. Whew, okay, I think I'm finished. I've been over here since probably, I don't know, 11:30, and it's now 5:30. So I've put some time in on these benches, but I'm happy with them. You can tell they're not the color that I started with. They're not that bright teal looking blue or kind of a blue-green. Now they're an older looking color. Now this one looks a little bit darker because it's not dry yet. I just stained it last. But this is about what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I think it's going to be so pretty with my sawbuck table. I can't wait to get it home and get it out on my deck tomorrow. I'm going to let them dry all night because that oil-based stain, it needs to dry for at least probably 12, 15 hours before you do anything with it. So I'm going to let these dry, and then I'm going to come get them in the morning and start doing my deck for spring. So I'm excited about that.